Hey there, nerds. Jimmy Palmquist here with a little trailer trash talk. Thought we might talk a little bit about X-Men Apocalypse, the recently released first trailer. And I have to say, obviously we have a, some people might say a glut, I think an abundance of superhero movies coming out. And we've had them for several years. One of my favorites have been the X-Men. They were, to me, sort of the first to I guess hit the scene and revitalize it. He was definitely the first team to come about, which was awesome. But they kind of made it more gritty. Obviously, I know Tim Burton's Batman took it to that level. But I think this one really kept it, you could say, because I think the first two were really great. Third one, not so much. And impressively, they reclaimed the franchise in first class, and probably my favorite to date, Days of Future Past. So, X-Men Apocalypse was teased at the end of Days of Future Past. I'm a huge fan of the villain, Apocalypse. I think his storylines are phenomenal. I think of X-Men Age of Apocalypse crossover event was one of the best I've ever read. I thought that was amazing what they did and the universe they created and told, and just phenomenal. So when they announced that Apocalypse was going to be in a movie, I was very skeptical. Because how do you portray this larger-than-life villain? I mean, truly larger-than-life. I know CG and all that has gotten pretty good, but how do you do that? And when the first images from Entertainment Weekly popped up online, oh man, they freaked me out because Apocalypse looked awful, just awful. Luckily, I had similar feelings when we saw Quicksilver revealed for the first time during Days of Future Past. It was like, oh, that's going to be awful. And he was one of my favorite characters in that movie. So it looks like he's back. Looks like we have a bunch of characters coming back. To be honest, from the commercial, or the trailer, and the other movies, I'm still confused. I think it's just me being a diehard comic book fan and not understanding, Havoc, Alex Summers, and Cyclops Scott Summers and their relationship in this movie series versus in the comic books, where they're clearly brothers, with Scott being the older brother. With Alex Havoc being introduced in first class, you kind of get the sense that he's the older brother, so it's not exactly sure where this is going with that. There's some great lines in the trailer. They refer to the Four Horsemen, and they're talking about, so he stole that from the Bible, and maybe the Bible stole from him. And it's like, wow, that's epic, because it just shows, I know we see him in Egypt, but it just shows how long he's been around and the impact he's had on the history of the planet. I mean, he's considered the first mutant, and he truly believes in, only the strong survive, and the evolution will bring about the best. So I'm so curious how this is going to go. I just love that we're going to have a huge ensemble cast of more and more mutants. And I love how the timeline has sort of been reset. So the events that happened in Days of Future Past, we're moving on from there. So it makes sense, the characters we're going to see and the things that are going to happen, because we don't really have to deal with the history that was already provided in the first 4 X movies. I guess First Class kind of falls out of that because it was before the events, but still the first 3 movies. I'm excited to see it. I thought the trailer was good. It made me feel a lot better about the movie. I still have some residual negative feelings about Bryan Singer and what he did with the 3rd X-Men movie. I have seen it since, obviously, release, when I was super disappointed. I've seen it since, and it's not nearly as bad as I remembered. But that doesn't forgive him for leaving the franchise and destroying the Superman franchise at the time. But he has done some great things since then. And like I said, I thought Days of Future Past was phenomenal. I love how they changed up the character, so it's not Shadowcat, but Wolverine, who goes back in the past. And his character was phenomenal doing that. I just think he's done some great stuff reinvigorating the franchise. I'm very, very curious to see this. I'm still holding my hopes down a little bit because I don't want to get too excited, But from the footage we've seen so far in the trailer, I'm pretty stoked. Let me know what you guys think in the comments below. X-Men Apocalypse.